When Darius first walked into the office of Brindletech, a mid-sized tech consulting firm in Boston, the usual workplace chatter fell quiet. It wasn't his clothes. He was dressed in standard business casual, and while he was the only black man in the department, that wasn't what drew attention either. It was his accent. "Where you from again?" someone asked, half smirking.
Jamaica.
Darius replied, nodding politely. A chuckle followed. "We got a reggae specialist in the building." That moment set the tone. Darius was qualified, experienced, and enthusiastic. But none of that seemed to matter to some of his colleagues. His Caribbean accent became a punchline, mocked, mimicked, and whispered about. Words like schedule and project turned into office jokes. It hurt, but he never let it show. In meetings, Darius was interrupted. When he offered ideas, they were dismissed, only to be later repeated by someone else in an American accent and met with nods of approval. He began to shrink into himself. Lunchtime became a lonely routine, eating at his desk with headphones in, pretending the solitude was by choice. His manager, Melissa, remained indifferent. She didn't mock him, but she didn't stop it either. There was one exception. Arjun, an Indian-American developer who understood the subtle digs and coded language all too well. "They called me the offshore guy last year," Arjun confided once, "even though I was born in Chicago." Their friendship was quiet, built on exchanged glances and shared understanding in a room that often overlooked them. One afternoon, Darius passed the break room and heard laughter. He paused. Then, his name. "Yeah, man, we get the client a contract," someone mocked in a fake Jamaican accent. Laughter erupted. His cheeks burned, his heart raced. He wanted to speak up, but didn't. That night, lying awake, he questioned everything. His move to the U.S., his career, even his voice. But then he thought of his daughter. "I came here to give her a better life, to show her our roots are not a weakness, but strength." He wouldn't let them take his dignity. Darius buried himself in work. He stayed late, took on thankless tasks, and gave everything he had. Then came a breakthrough. He discovered a hidden flaw in a client's software that saved Brindletech from a $200,000 lawsuit. Even Melissa took notice. "Good work," she said, with a tight smile. But the jokes, they didn't stop. If anything, his success made them sharper. Over the next year, Darius built his reputation, not with words, but with results. Clients began requesting him. His presentations, though sometimes met with muffled laughter, were insightful and sharp. Melissa started assigning him more responsibility. Still, the culture remained unchanged. The jokes continued. One day, he walked into a meeting and found his name tag replaced with "Cool Runnings." He didn't flinch. He picked it up, placed it in his folder, and led the meeting. One morning, the CEO called an emergency meeting. Brindletech was competing for a massive contract with Omnivox, a logistics giant. Melissa had to pick her core team. To everyone's surprise, including Darius's, she chose him. Tension filled the room at the first team meeting. Some colleagues groaned when Darius presented his ideas, but he came prepared, with a 3-tier integration plan that tackled Omnivox's biggest challenges: cost, communication, and scalability. Melissa was impressed. She asked him to lead a portion of the final pitch. "Hope they understand him," someone muttered. Darius said nothing, but afterward Arjun pulled him aside. "You're gonna kill it," he said. "You've got this." Darius smiled.
Thanks, man. I hope so.
The night before the pitch, Darius stayed late finalizing his slides. After a short break, He returned to find several files gone, deleted. Panic hit. He reported it to Melissa. She showed mild sympathy but didn't investigate. Someone had sabotaged him. Instead of crumbling, Darius rebuilt the presentation from memory. He rehearsed until the sun came up. The room was silent as the pitch began. Melissa introduced the plan, then handed it off. Darius stepped forward. As he spoke, the tension broke. The Omnivox CFO leaned in. The CTO smiled. His insight struck a chord. When he finished, silence filled the room, then applause. "We've never had someone understand our internal chaos that well," said the lead executive. "And your accent? Refreshing. Reminded me of a vacation I desperately need." Laughter followed, even from Melissa. Brindletech won the contract. Everything changed. The jokes stopped, or at least went underground. Melissa called Darius into her office. "I underestimated you," she admitted. "We all did." Within months, Darius was promoted. His salary doubled. He was given his own team. One of the co-workers who once mocked him applied to join. He didn't hire him. With Arjun's support, Darius launched a mentorship initiative called Voices Heard. They trained managers on unconscious bias. They supported new hires, empowering them to lead with confidence, regardless of accent, background, or skin tone. Others began to open up. A woman from Nigeria, a man from Colombia. A quiet Vietnamese developer who finally found his voice. Together, they built a space where everyone felt seen. Years later, Darius stood on stage at an international leadership summit. The topic: communication, confidence, and cultural intelligence. He adjusted the mic. Heart full, accent unfiltered.
My name is Darius Thompson, and this is the voice that once got laughed at, but today it leads.
The crowd rose to their feet. And in that moment, every whisper, every joke, every quiet lunch at his desk, it all transformed into something greater. Fuel. Because success doesn't require silence. It demands resilience.
Your voice is more than sound. It's your story, a map of where you've been and a banner of where you're going. Don't quiet it to fit in. Let it ring out to stand apart. Because one day, the same voice they mocked will be the one that leads the room.
If this story stirred something in you, if you've ever been overlooked, underestimated, or mocked for simply being yourself, then let your voice echo too. Comment below and tell us, have you ever turned pain into purpose? Like if you felt empowered. Share it with someone who needs the reminder that resilience always wins. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a story from the pen's echoes. Where voices rise, stories matter, and every echo tells a tale worth remembering. Let's keep the echoes going.